Happy new moon, everybody. Just getting my Palo Santo going here. Cleanse the energy of my room before my new moon expose on our future here in Canada and around the world. Gonna turn down the tunes. Wait for a few people to pop on by, because this is literally government, from the government, right from their lips, their policy offices, and it's a future called biological convergence. It's happening, and someone sent me, well, it's the government website. It is, and it's pretty scary stuff. It's, well, you know, I guess not scary. We've been talking about transhumanism for quite some time now. And that's what it's all about, transhumanism. I'm at a Government of Canada website right now. Policy Horizons Canada. I'm going to flip you around just to take a quick look. Exploring Biodigital Convergence. And this is dated February 11th, 2020. So before we get going on that document, that's what we're going to be discussing tonight. We're going to be getting the information right from the lips of the government and their policy office. We've been talking about the fact that there will be a merging of human and AI, machine, computer, and it's here, presented by our own government. Now again, we're being maneuvered, and we all know that. And well, the maneuvering's happening all over the world. Every place, every country taking their own tact. But the new order is in control, and we all know that. But this is going to, I think, open your eyes as to how far along things are. We had no idea. Now, this Policy Horizons Canada started way back in, I think, 1996. Yes. The Policy Research Secretariat was created by the Privy Council Office. PRS was a think tank that focused on horizontal issues that cut across traditional departmental responsibilities. In 1997, PRS was made permanent with PCO to respond to the need for better support of interdepartmental research networks. So it's got a history, and a history that a lot of us never understood, didn't know about at all. Well, here we are. And I'm going to just, you know what, let's dig right in here, because this is interesting. It certainly affects, well, I think in a lot of ways it's going to help us reconcile what we've been seeing and believing and knowing about this, because it's all part of, well, just cogs in the wheel to bring us to biological convergence. I had no idea this was as far along. And in fact, I went looking for some articles, and there was David Icke, and he called it, saying the Government of Canada was 100% on board with the transhumanist agenda. And that was a couple of years ago. So he nailed it. And yeah, here we are, learning last about what our own government has been up to and the direction they intend to take humanity. Now, I don't think a lot of this was available before, because again, this article is dated 2020. But let's go. Let's just dig in. But remember, February 11th, 2020, that was before the pandemic, like, was called around the world. So this dropped. And again, nobody knew about it. Hey everybody, nice to see you. We're digging into this document and learning about our future. All right. Exploring Biodigital Convergence. Again, February 11th, 2020. Let's get up here. Now we're just going to hear right from them, their forward. In the coming years, biodigital technologies could be woven into our lives in a way that digital technologies are now. Biological and digital systems are converging and could change the way we work, live, and even evolve as a species. More than a technological change, this biodigital convergence may transform the way we understand ourselves and cause us to redefine what we consider human or natural. Biodigital convergence may profoundly impact our economy, our ecosystems, and our society. Being prepared to support it while managing its risks with care and sensitivity will shape the way we navigate social and ethical concerns, as well as guide policy and governance conversations. Guided by its mandate, Policy Horizons Canada intends to start an informed and meaningful dialogue about plausible futures for biodigital convergence and the policy questions that may arise. In this initial paper, we define and explore biodigital convergence, why it is important to explore now, its characteristics, what new capabilities could arise from it, and some initial policy implications. We want to engage with a broad spectrum of partners and stakeholders on what our biodigital future might look like, how this convergence might affect the sectors of industry, and how our relationship with technology, nature, and even life itself could evolve. We welcome your comments and participation and look forward to diving more deeply into the questions raised in this paper. Now this is Crystal van der Elst. I'm just going to flip you around here till we focus. Okay, so this is on, guys. Absolutely it's on. And they're laying it out. Now, I decided I would take a look at this woman who is heading this, and here she is. CEO of the Global Foresight Group, Director General, Policy Horizons Canada, Government of Canada. Now, I found it interesting as I went down into her information as to the fact, let's get here, she's Director General starting in 2018, Special Advisor to European Commission Vice President, Marcos, I'm not going to attempt to say that, a fellow U.S. Government Accountability Office, Center for Strategic Foresight. And actually, if we just dig into her other experiences, there she is, World Economic Forum, Senior Director, Head of Strategic Foresight, member of the Executive Committee of the World Economic Forum, way back in 2005 until 2015. So that's quite a tenure. In any case, she's instrumental in our future. So I'll be digging in more into her, but I have to thank Patrick for sending me this link yesterday because, yeah, again, we are way further ahead than we seem to understand. And just like Agenda 2030, well, unfortunately, again, stakeholders didn't include us because the politicians aren't telling us a word of any of this. They're going along with the maneuvering. Yet, they have to know about it. They must. Because if they didn't, it would make them incompetent, right? This is unbelievable. In any case, let's go to the summary. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Canadians and policymakers began to understand the digital age was upon us. Early movers seized opportunities, grappled with challenges, and initiated deft policies that have provided benefits for decades. We continue to see the powerful effects of digitization, and more are surely to come. But we may be on the cusp of another disruption of a similar magnitude. Digital technologies and biological systems are beginning to combine and merge in a way that could be profoundly disruptive to our assumptions about society, the economy, and our bodies. We call this the Bio Digital Convergence. This paper sets out an initial framing to guide Policy Horizons' upcoming foresight work. So, 3 ways biodigital convergence is emerging. Full physical integration of biological and digital entities. Number 2, coevolution of biological and digital technologies. Number 3, conceptual convergence of biological and digital systems. Okay. Biodigital convergence is opening up, striking new ways to change human beings, our bodies, minds, and behaviors. Change or create other organisms, alter ecosystems, sense, store, process, and transmit information, manage biological innovation, structure and manage production and supply chain. Possible characteristics of the biodigital system: democratization, decentralization, geographic diffusion, scalability, customization, reliance on data. Initial policy relevant questions: economic. Could traditional resource-based competitive advantages fade? Would education and training systems need to be adapted to address potential skills and gaps? What could data protection and intellectual property frameworks look like in the biodigital era? How can policy foster a competitive business advantage in a biodigital world? As you can see, this is like a given. There's no should we consider it. It's like kind of full speed ahead. This is the social section. Could social attitudes shift towards health and lifestyle? What policies could help address health inequality? What policies could foster trust among partners and stakeholders? Now, could social attitudes shift towards health and lifestyle? Well, this last year certainly has seen a shift of people paying attention to their health more than they did before, right? Again, how many people did you see sick out there sniffling? There was none of that this year for the first time. It's shifting behaviors, but as well, this is all about, again, the tailoring out of certain features of the personality, like your empathy and, again, instincts. Again, this is a whole new way of looking at humanity. And again, this isn't up for a debate or anything. It seems to be, this is exactly where they're going with it. It's crazy. All right, let's flip around here to environmental. What changes could occur in land use in the natural environment? Geopolitical. What policies are necessary to compete in a global biodigital world? What is needed to protect citizens' security in the biodigital world? How can regulation and policy making take social concerns about biodigital advances into account? Is the current tax framework suited for the biodigital world? Now that's so interesting. Look at that. Opens the gate to the circular economy. Do public finance systems need to be addressed to be sustainable in the biodigital world? Okay, so let's talk about what it is, as they explain. What is biodigital convergence? Is the interactive combination, sometimes to the point of merging, of digital and biological technologies and systems. Policy Horizons is examining 3 ways in which this convergence is happening. 1, the full physical integration of biological and digital entities. Digital technologies can be embedded in organisms, and biological components can exist as parts of digital technologies. The physical meshing, manipulating, and merging of the biological and digital are creating new hybrid forms of life and technology, each functioning in the tangible world, often with heightened capabilities. Robots with biological brains and biological bodies with digital brains already exist, as do human computer and brain machine interfaces. The medical use of digital devices in humans, as well as digitally manipulated insects such as drone dragonflies and surveillance locusts, are examples of digital technology being combined with biological entities. By tapping into the nervous system and manipulating neurons, tech can be added to an organism to alter its function and purpose. New human bodies and new senses of identity could arise as the convergence continues. What? Again, this is our government, guys. Government of Canada. In the media, they're still calling all of this conspiracy, even though we see all of these programs laying out. But it's here. And again, we're not being asked, as we all know. Let's see if anybody's... Yeah, you know what? A lot of people aren't getting the memo here. They're just tapping me out. Oh, it's so frustrating. In any case, let's continue because this is super interesting. I'm blown away, honestly, I am, because again, I read about all this, but to see it from our own government and the fact I missed it, I can't believe I did that. Again, this was a year ago. Over a year ago. Unbelievable. All right, coevolution of biological and digital technologies. This type of biodigital convergence emerges when advances in one domain generate major advances in another. The coevolution of biological and digital sciences and technologies enables progress in each domain that would be impossible otherwise. This could lead to biological and digital technologies that are developed as integrated or complementary systems. Complex living systems, bacteria, fungi, plants, and animal life, including humans, are increasingly subject to examination and understanding by digital tools and applications, such as machine learning. This deeper understanding, enabled by digital technologies, means that biology is subject to influence and manipulation that was not possible a few years ago. For example, gene sequencing combined with artificial intelligence leads to understanding genetic expression, which is then used to alter existing organisms to create organic compounds in new ways, or even entirely synthetic organisms. The CRISPR-Cas9 approach and other new gene editing techniques would have been impossible without the evolution of digital technology and bioinformatics. Advances in digital technologies have helped the advancement of the biodigital. We also see a greater understanding of biology, which is fueling progress in the field of biological computing. Neural nets, computer systems that are designed based on biological brains are an example of how biological understanding is shaping digital technology. There is a blurring between what is considered natural or organic and what is digital, engineered, or synthetic. For example, biosynthetic vanilla is created by using ferulic acid, eugenol, and glucose as substrates, and bacteria, fungi, yeast as microbial production hosts. Although it does not come from the vanilla plant, under both US and EU food legislation, its production from microbial transformations of natural precursors allows it to be labeled a natural flavoring. And again, okay, so throughout Agenda 2030 that I've been going on and on about for a year and a bit, it's the continual, again, wordsmithing of what is natural and organic. what they're doing is implanting synthetic in our version. So again, twisting the meaning of what it is. Now here with the vanilla story, that's super interesting because, well, I was in Africa and I went to vanilla plantations, and it is very difficult to grow it. You have to hand pollinate it all. And they had investors that came in and they wanted to arm them with genetically modified bees. And this was like 2015. So the fact that they can literally manufacture it, what they're saying is vanilla, because they're using components and again, substrates, etc., if you're a biologist. And if all of them act as a precursor to create that product, well, then it's considered the product. Now, Slow Food around the world, the biggest food organization, started in Italy. It was all about preserving food heritage. And it's global. Again, now this is a complete gutting of what we've ever known. Gutting it. Ripping out the guts. They are. And, well, kind of doing that with my lifestyle and so many other people that I know that rely on natural remedies, that believe that, well, a carrot is a carrot, milk is dairy, almond milk is almond milk, that vanilla is vanilla if it is labeled on the package. But this is where it all started to change. And I'll tell you, way back like in early 2000, 1998, when we legalized hemp production in Canada, when GMOs were released, again, under subterfuge, piggybacked on hemp, because hemp was sexy. And that's what they needed to divert the eyes away from the genetically modified crops that, again, had no history. And I know what it's done to people's guts. I've watched it over the years. The minute we get them off those foods, everything is back to normal. In any case, conceptual convergence of biological and digital systems. A third form of biodigital convergence involves a shift in perspective that could reshape our framing and approach to biological and digital realms, facilitating the blending of the two. As we continue to better understand and control the mechanisms that underlie biology, we could see a shift away from vitalism, the idea that living and non-living organisms are fundamentally different because they are thought to be governed by different principles. Instead, the idea of biology as having predictable and digitally manageable characteristics may become increasingly common as a result of living in a biodigital age. Any student of biology today will have grown up in a digital world and may consciously or subconsciously apply that frame of reference to bioinformatics and biology generally. From a digital perspective, we see a potential shift in the opposite direction. Computing began as a means of producing predictable, replicable, and relatively simple outcomes. As digital technology becomes more complex and connected, the system began to mimic the characteristics of the biological world, leading to the notion of technological ecosystems. Biological models are also being used to develop digital tools such as AI based on neural nets. 3 ways that biodigital convergence is emerging. Full physical integration of biological and digital entities. Digital technology can be embedded in an organism, and biological components can exist as parts of digital technologies. Number 2, coevolution of biological and digital technologies. Coevolution emerges when advances in one domain generate major advances in another. So, as we venture into the 4th industrial revolution, and this is what they're calling this, again, It's meant to literally gut what we've known, and we've seen this over the year. We've seen it in the withholding of holidays. No Christmas for you, no Easter for you, no Thanksgiving. Again, absolutely transforming attitudes about these former holidays and occasions that we grew up on. They want to disrupt that for this next generation. And it will be us that hold on to it if we last through the, I'm not doing it. No way. In any case, let's move on. Number 3, conceptual convergence and of biological and digital systems. Conceptual convergence involves a shift in perspective that could reshape our framing and approach to biological and digital realms, facilitating the blending of the two. So it's on. Why explore biodigital convergence now? Well, because you're doing it. Oh boy. There are enough signals to give shape to potential biodigital futures. These signals suggest biosciences and biotechnology may be at the cusp of a period of rapid expansion, possibly analogous to digital computing circa 1985. That year, oh, here we go with Microsoft. Microsoft introduced Windows 1.0. Atari released the Atari ST home computer, and the first domain name, symbolics.com, was registered. Computing was entering the mass market, creating value across many more types of organizations and contexts than it had during the decades of giant mainframes. Biodigital convergence is showing signs of a similar trajectory, moving away from the centralized models of pharmaceutical and industrial biotech towards widespread commercial and consumer use. These range from bioprinters that create organic tissue to synthetic biology machines that can be programmed to create entirely new organisms. For example, Printeria is an all-in-one bioengineering device that automates the process of printing genetic circuits in bacteria. It is intended to be as easy to use as a domestic desktop printer and is projected to cost $1,500. Rapid progress in biological technologies has benefited from the low-cost, broad availability and increasing capability of digital processing, storage, and communication. However, the biological realm's own unique and special attributes are simultaneously influencing digital systems. New forms of biological capabilities are being built into digital networks, as well as at applications and computation, making them more efficient and creating new opportunities. Biodigital convergence involves a rethinking of biology as providing both the raw materials and mechanism for developing innovative processes to create new products, services, and ways of being. Today's rapid rate of change and innovation compels us to reassess our understanding and expectations about biological and digital systems. The convergence of these domains could cause systemic change across sectors and have policy implications. Governments can expect to be called upon to help manage the risks and seize opportunities that could arise. So this is interesting, just a little story. Many factors could affect how biodigital convergence technologies could impact different societies, countries, cultures, environments, and people across the globe. The following is one of the many possible narratives depicting some of the innovations in a future biodigital world. I wake up to the sunlight and salty coastal air of the Adriatic Sea. I don't live anywhere near the Mediterranean, but my AI, which is also my health advisor, has prescribed a specific air quality, scent, and solar intensity to manage my energy levels in the morning, and has programmed my bedroom to mimic this climate. The fresh bed sheets grown in my building from regenerating fungi are better than I imagined. I feel rested and ready for the day. I need to check a few things before I get up. I send a brain message to open the app that controls my insulin levels and make sure my pancreas is optimally supported. I can't imagine having to inject myself with needles like my mother did when she was a child. Now it's a microbe transplant that auto-adjusts and reports on my levels. Everything looks all right, so I check my brain's digital interface to read the dream data that was recorded and processed in real time last night. My therapy app analyzes the emotional responses I experienced while I slept. It suggests I take time to be in nature this week to reflect on my recurring trapped in a box dream and enhance helpful subconscious neural activity. My AI recommends a forced day. I think okay. And my AI and neural implant do the rest. The summary of my bug bot surveillance footage shows that my apartment was safe from intruders, including other bug bots last night. But it does notify me that my herd of little cyber dragonflies are hungry. They've been working hard collecting data and monitoring the outside environment for the night. But the number of mosquitoes and Lyme-carrying ticks they normally hunt to replenish their energy was smaller than expected. With a thought, I order some nutrient support for them. My feet hit the regenerative carpet, and I grab a bathrobe, although I don't need it for warmth. My apartment is gradually warming up to a comfortable 22 degrees as it cycles through a constantly shifting daily routine that keeps me in balance with the time of day and season. Building codes and home energy infrastructure are synchronized and require all homes to be auto-regulated for efficiency. Because houses and buildings are biomimetic and incorporate living systems for climate control wherever possible, they are continuously filtering the air and capturing carbon. I check my carbon offset meter to see how much credit I will receive for my home's contribution to the government climate change mitigation program. As I head to the bathroom, I pause at the window to check the accelerated growth of my neighboring building. Biological architecture has reached new heights, and the synthetic tree compounds are growing taller each day. To ensure the building can withstand even the strongest winds and reduce swaying for residences on the top floors, a robotic 3D printer is clambering around the emerging structure and adding carbon reinforced biopolymer, strengthening critical stress points identified by its AI supported sensor array. I'm glad they decided to tree the roof of this building with the fire resistant genetically modified red cedar, since urban forest fires have become a concern. Well, this is pretty wild, isn't it? I could go on with this story, but again, I'm going to put this in the comments so everybody can take a look at this, because again, this is from our government. It's hard to believe. It's straight out of a science fiction horror movie. Yeah. And again, our government, Joe. I'm blown out. Patrick, there you are. Thanks for joining in. The guy who sent the article. He has a bison farm. Got to get to know your producer coming up. Because this is a nightmare. This is more than again, it's a science fiction novel coming to life in our generation. Again, never saw this coming. Again, I saw it. I read about it, but it was future. It wasn't now, and it is now. It does satisfy what we've been talking about, and it confirms it. This is all about that. And again, the wiring in of these technologies merging. I'm not good with that. Are you good with that? It's funny because I think I'm really getting shadow banned here, like big time. I've never had so few people on. It's crazy. They're after it. Very frustrating, but people will catch it later, I'm sure. I wanted to bring you up to date on that because I was blown away when I saw it. I realized we were close, and again, last year I realized the shift was here, but with the shift, you're going, well, you know, years and years of work. No, all this work was pre-done, and again, this, the date on this year in time was predestined. And I believe now that that was the Agenda 21. Now, the flipping, the Agenda 2030 throws everybody off. Absolutely. Agenda 2030 makes us think that this is a long way off, and it's not, because it's here and it's now, and they've begun the convergence process with us. Again, something I saw the other night, and of course I've done a lot of research into the Uyghur Muslims and what's been going on in the province of Xinjiang, where it's close to Kazakhstan. It's on the border, and it's northwest. Yes. In any case, that was largely Uyghur Muslim territory, but the Chinese government controls that territory, CCP, and they started trying to populate the area with the Han Chinese. And initially there were conflicts, clashes. And what started to happen is that they started containing these people, re-educating them. The people that wouldn't transition into the Han, well, they were a problem. So again, these are the people ending up in these work camps. These are the people harvesting the cotton. These are the people going to school each day to learn the Chinese way. And to exist there, you have to delete your culture. And this very thing is actually happening to us now. And we don't realize it is yet. I've seen it right from the beginning. With the social distancing, again, and a complete reset. This was not a for 2 weeks, please do this. It never was. It was always to this. And again, this came out February 11th, 2020 on the government website. And again, not a peep, right? All of this fashioned to be under the wire, so that none of us know what's going on. The circular economy has had its own little spot on the Government of Canada website as well. Like right now, this is literally a meshing and a manipulation of how we view democracy. Again, a continual wordsmithing. It's a wordsmithing. That's what I see in it. It's like how, and I've said this a million times, how the coronavirus morphed to becoming COVID-19, the virus. And then somehow it morphed again into being the disease of COVID-19. It's been a continual transition. And again, that was over a weekend in the spring last year, where Friday, everyone in the media, World Health Organization, everyone was saying virus. And on Monday, everybody switched to disease. It's unbelievable. But again, this is now the framework, and this is what they needed. Transhumanism disguised so expertly in the many diversions. Absolutely, Joe. You're absolutely correct. The fact that the government, again, is pushing these, again, experimental. I don't know who, if you're on Telegram and you're not there, go over there to Unmask the Fear, at Unmask the Fear, because I have a tape. a screen recording from a woman who had called Health Canada asking about, and yeah, it's experimental, right out of their mouth. Again, I shared a bunch of content too. One video today, which is a complete compilation of a lot of material and warnings. And in any case, I'm not going to bore you today with more of this. You know what? Let's finish the story because honestly, that was juicy. This is our future for the ones who have joined in. Okay. While I'm brushing my teeth, Jamie, my personal AI, asks if I'd like a delivery drone to come pick up my daughter's baby tooth, which fell out 2 days ago. The epigenetic markers in children's teeth have to be analyzed and cataloged on our family genetic blockchain in order to qualify for the Open Health rebate. So I need to do that today. I replaced the smart sticker that monitors my blood chemistry, lymphatic system, and organ function in real time. It's hard to imagine the costs and suffering that people must have endured before personalized preventative medicine became common. Also, I'll admit, it sounds gross, but it's a good thing that the municipality samples our fecal matter from the sewage pipes. It's part of the platform to analyze data on nutritional diversity, gut bacteria, and antibiotic use to aid with public health screening and fight antibiotic-resistant strains of bacterial infections. Supposedly, the next download for my smart sink will allow me to choose a personalized biotic mix for my dechlorinated drinking water. Today's microbiome breakdown is displayed on the front of my fridge as I enter the kitchen. It's tracking a steady shift as I approach middle age. Today it suggests miso soup as part of my breakfast because my biome needs more diversity as a result of recent stress and not eating well last night. The buildings in my neighborhood share a vertical farm, so I get carbon credits by eating miso made from soybeans produced on my roof and fermented in my fridge. My fridge schedules the production of more miso and some kimchi in preparation for the coming week. It also adds immune-boosting ingredients to my grocery order because we're approaching flu season, and a strain that I'm likely to be susceptible to has been detected only a few blocks away. I take my smart supplement, which just popped out of my bioprinter. The supplement adjusts the additional nutrients and microbes I need and sends data about my body back to my bioprinter to adjust tomorrow's supplement. The feedback loop between me and my bioprinter also cloud stores daily data for future preventative health metrics. The real-time monitoring of my triglycerides is important given my genetic markers. As my coffee pours, I check my daughter's latest school project, which has been growing on the counter for the past week. She's growing a liver for a local puppy in need as part of her empathy initiative at school. More stem cells are on the way to start a kidney too, because she wants to help more animals. I grab my coffee, brewed with new certified carbon negative bean variety, and sit on the couch for a minute. It appears the nutrient treatment I painted on the surface of the couch and chairs has allowed them to rejuvenate. I'll have to try the treatment on my bioprinted running shoes as they're starting to wear out. Oh wow, is that the time? I only have 10 minutes before my first virtual meeting. I tighten the belt on my skeletal-muscular strength chair, lean back, and log into my workspace. First, I get the debrief from colleagues finishing their workday on the other side of the world. I shiver momentarily as I think about how intimately we're connected in this digital biosphere. Then it passes. Let the day begin. The story may sound far-fetched, however, the technologies mentioned exist in some form today. While they are not yet commercially available in the form presented here, a world where we take the interaction between biological and digital technologies for granted is starting to emerge. While this is a representation of technologies that could be part of a biodigital world, it does not represent the only plausible future. Rather, it is an imaginative vignette outlining radical shifts that could take place within an optimistic biodigital future. Varying levels of access, adoption, and alternative realities could exist. So yeah, they're saying, this isn't now, but again, this is where it's going. And this is, again, talking about that personalized healthcare. The city of Neom, again, that is part of it. The fact that public health has imposed themselves upon us and our lives, well, this is training for that. Again, continual intrusion, where you researching, figuring out what's going on with your own body, or relying on a doctor, those days are over. This is all about this information integrating. What do you think? It's crazy. It's crazy. Hi, Gary Riley. We've got Joe here. And again, like I'm absolutely getting messed up. It's so frustrating. I wish Telegram had the video capability. I truly do. Because that has doubled in a week. I think 5 days since the Angry Albertan shouted me out. And that's the quickest movement I've seen on any platform. They keep coming on Facebook here, but again, I can't share barely anything. And I got banned, or I got a 3-month restriction on my account for Susie batting the TV and saying it was a cure for don't want to get one again. But this is how ridiculous it is. But then I see the same, people with their profile pictures that are that. And I'm like, how does that happen? Funny enough, there was Rachel Harder there talking today. I think, no, it wasn't Rachel Harder. It was Michelle Rempel talking about the fact that coming up, creators on YouTube and on Facebook, and again, people who are investing in their platforms, how all of a sudden now we're not going to be seen because the government doesn't want us to be seen. So if we're not 100% on their messaging, they're going to, deplatform us and not recommend our channels and shove us to the back. And the thing is, I said on her feed, I said, what's wrong with you? Where have you been? Obviously, you don't have a platform that you've ever grown organically, because it's impossible to do. Videos never recommended. Again, shoved right to the back. And that's been going on for well over a year. I got censored, outright censored on BitChute, 25% of my work, encompassing at that time 25% of my work. It was a lot for the uncensored platform. They have a lot more ways to push us back. And again, as I can see tonight, doing a video at this time, seriously, I don't do the whole tagging thing. I don't like that. I think it's aggressive. So I don't want to do that. But again, this platform's starting to fizzle out for me. Really sucks. And I hear constantly people try to get on and they get flipped off. It's just a drag. But here we are. It's a new moon. And for me, I'm spending the rest of the evening writing down my intentions for the month. I always do that. It's my thing. Cleansing my crystals, my salt water, and having a salt bath, because that's a ritual, always. I have one of those old claw tubs, and I'm selling my house, so I'm actually been doing that a little bit more because I'm going to miss that tub. It is a special, special feature, a special piece for me. Busy cleaning the place out, spring cleaning. It was 20 degrees here in Saskatchewan today, so that was amazing. It's like summer. I try to be really happy. I have to try to continue to keep my mood elevated, be happy with what we have. I think the more information we get, and again, when we start to see that our own government of our own country is openly, and again, seemingly taking a leading global position in this. And again, like Agenda 2030, a whole group of stakeholders in which none of us are. We've been excluded. Our politicians are supposed to be the stakeholders, but they aren't acknowledging or recognizing that we have an aversion to this. It's sneaky. And, well, who do you trust that's sneaky? Our own government. It's a manipulation beyond what we've ever seen. And I don't believe that's just because we're enlightened or we've caught on. I believe that this is seriously the biggest manipulation ever to drive us into this new way of being that is not organic, that does not support our former understanding of the earth, and supporting AI and machine over wisdom. Continual interference in your life. It's not just a digital currency. It's not just the mask. It's not just that. It is a continual berating of a way of being. I can tell you there's not going to be obesity in this scenario. I can guarantee it, because it won't be allowed. This is why, again, they don't want you to have your own fridge or freezer stocked with food. Everything will be on demand, and that is exactly where we are going. It's not what I had in mind. And I think that's pretty much this, well, from my crowd, definitely where we stand. It's distrust. And again, the injection of this under emergency order. People pulling out brochures out of sealed packages and opening these massive inserts that used to be double-sided. Pharmacists doing this. It's on Telegram. I've seen like 4 or 5 people do that now. And literally the J&J, all it has is this little part and the rest of it's blank. No liability. And possible, again, damage for years to come. And they'll never know or determine it. We have every reason to be distrustful. We do. And, well, all we can do is arm ourselves with information. Information is power. And it will help us and guide us to at least reconciling with what's going on. I think that's so important. If we don't reconcile our beliefs, again, enough to step back, and a lot of people want to withdraw from society. I don't blame you. I'm pretty much on that page too. I'm kind of thinking about running to a third world country, at least, you know, maybe have another 10 years of, you know, somewhat normalcy. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but like Israel's getting the bombed. It's a disaster, and there's going to be war on there. What is blowing me away lately has been all of the, like on Telegram, watching Jack Dawkins feed. War is real time. We don't require movies anymore. It's all there. And the threat to Israel this afternoon from Hamas, and, you know, 15 minutes, they're going to start bombing. And then it started, and it was like real time on this feed. We are going to be so overloaded with this imagery that again, it's all about maneuvering us through insane psychological trauma. Kill them off with our wits. Yeah, I don't think AI has wits. Not that I've detected. As a naturalist, it's all pretty heavy. Again, it sounds like supplements is all part of this, and I know it is. Again, amendments are the toxic poisons, and then of course the introduction of technologies to merge biodigital and biological. Again, it's the setup, and they're setting us up for it without telling us. Again, it's sneaky, unproven, untested. It's a massive experiment, and they don't care about the fallout. That's pretty clear. Every single person participating in this, I wouldn't wish your karma on anyone. Happy new moon, everybody. I'm going to take off. I thought that I would share that information. And we'll be back to the Agenda 2030 cartel and finding out again who's invested in all of this. Because it's more than the old story. The players have shifted, moved and grooved and changed in some cases. And it's time that everybody understands who they all are. Happy new moon.